Okay. So welcome to this video. Sorry, I started without functioning microphone, and I was saying that today I will continue my cloud architect learning path, and in particular I will have this course which is called and setup an app dev environment on Google Cloud. So let's start it immediately. We have just one module with 10 labs, which look like short labs. And yeah, let's go to this. Let's start module. So the first lab is a lab about cloud storage, and it says it describes the service. So you can use cloud storage for a range of scenarios, including serving website content, storing data for archival and disaster recovery, or distributing large data objects to users via direct download. Here we'll create a storage, upload objects, create folders and subfolders, make objects in a storage bucket publicly accessible. Okay. Let's have a look. In this second lab, yeah, I'm having a look if it's worth it to do this, because if they're just simple labs, I don't know, maybe I can skip it. So create a storage, upload, create folders and subfolders, make objects in a storage bucket publicly accessible, cloud IAM, monitoring run functions, so assign roles, cloud monitoring, quick start, so monitor compute engine, install monitoring and logging. So these are all things which I already had, labs which I already had in other modules. Yeah, so I'm thinking that maybe it's not that useful to repeat them now, maybe. Of course, they're useful in general. Okay, so quick start, pub/sub, set up a topic, subscribe to the topic, publish, and then consume messages. Set up an app dev environment. So create a bucket for storing, create a pub so that will you use for you create, remove. Okay, yeah, I'm thinking that maybe I can look for other courses. Let's have a look at those that remain. So the course I was inspecting was this one. Then we have develop your Google Cloud network, build infrastructure with Terraform on Google Cloud, set up a Google Cloud network, optimize cost, cloud architecture, design, implement and manage. So sincerely, I have the impression that this course about Terraform, these about architecture are those which really interest me, and maybe this one about APG. So now let's have a look at what other material do we have to practice for the exam. For example, I am curious if we have any type of exam simulation available. So let's have a look. So let's have a look at the certification page and the exam guide. Now that I've been through all this course, Okay. So go further, blah blah blah, gain access, okay, explore all benefits. So I'm already subscribed to this. Okay, so one thing that maybe we can do will be to ask Gemini or other LLMs to test our knowledge. Let's have a look at other things like, okay, so during the exam, some of the question may refer you to a case study that describes a fictitious business. These case studies are intended to provide additional context to help you choose your answer. Okay, so now my concern is to practice a lot of quiz simulations more than practicing like practice exercise like those available as labs, which of course in real life scenarios are more important, but to pass the exam certification, the certification exam, I need to know what type of questions and how to reason for those questions. Okay, therefore we have the healthcare business case, the business scenario, the helicopter racing league, the Mount Gear games. So this is a multiplayer game for mobile platforms, and Terram Earth, which are manufacturers heavy equipment for the mining agricultural industries. Okay. Let's have a look if someone did like a debrief of these case studies. So we are looking for GCP professional architect study case. Okay, so this guy is doing a breakdown of some use cases. Let's have a look if he has a playlist for this. It looks like that this guy has it. So it was health, EHR, helicopter rings, Mount Kirk, and Terram Earth. Okay, so Mount Kirk, Terram Earth, then Helicopter Racing League, and I'm missing the healthcare case study. So this is a new video about the beta exam. Okay, these are really interesting videos, by the way. So Google Cloud is launching a new streamlined renewal exam for the professional cloud architect certification. This exam focuses on generative AI case studies, allowing certified cloud architects to stay current with Google Cloud technologies. Nice. So wait a minute. Are we still talking about the same exam? So this is professional cloud architect certification. Oh, the registration fee is lower now. Ah, for the renewal. Okay, so 200 is still the same. Review sample questions. Nice. Oh, look here. So maybe now I will go through these questions. Pippo, Franco, primary mail, Pippo at franco.org. Recovery mail, Franco at Pippo.com. Organization, Pippo Franco International. Organization email. I don't have it. Country, Albania. Primary relationship to Google. What do you mean? Customer. Send me offers. No. Next. For these questions, refer to EHR healthcare study. Okay. Anonymous users from all over the world access a public health information website hosted in an on-premises EHR data center. The servers that host this website are older and users are complaining about sluggish response times. There has also been a recent increase of distributed denial of service attacks towards the website. The attacks always come from the same IP address range, and EHR management has identified the public health information website as an easy, low-risk application to migrate to Google Cloud. You need to improve access latency and provide a security solution that will prevent the denial of service traffic from entering your virtual private cloud network. What should you do? So we are sure that they use the same IP address range. I mean, it depends of what's this IP range. So deploy an external GCP containerized application. It looks like we have to intervene more on these type of solutions. So to deploy an external HTTPS load balancer, configure VPC firewall rules, configure Google Cloud Armor, and move the application to compute engine virtual machines. Oh yeah, because the servers that host these websites are older and they are hosted in an on-premises EHR. Okay. I will use Cloud Armor, which, if I don't remember wrongly, Cloud Armor is basically like benefit from DDoS protection, detect and mitigate attacks, mechanism to detect block layer 7 DDoS. Okay, so it looks like a first. Let's have a look. Oh shit, man. Okay, so yeah, it's this one. Next. So EHR wants to connect one of their data centers to Google Cloud. The data center is in a remote location over 100 kilometers from a Google-owned point of presence. They can't afford new hardware, but their existing firewall can accommodate future throughput growth. They also share these data points. Servers in their on-premises data center need to talk to Google Kubernetes resource in the cloud. Both on-premises services and cloud resources are configured with private RFC blah 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 IP addresses. The service provider has informed the customer that basic internet connectivity is a best effort service with no SLA. You need to recommend a connectivity option. What should you recommend? So a carrier peering, a new internet connection, a partner interconnect connection, a dedicated internet connection, interconnect connection. So 100 kilometers from a Google owned point of presence. They can't afford new hardware, but their existing firewall can accommodate future throughput growth. And they share these data points. I don't remember the differences between the carrier peering, partner interconnect, dedicated interconnect. However, carrier peering. So provision a new internet connection doesn't sound like logic for me. In this case, basically they need to they need a connection between their data centers and the Google owned point of presence. and they need to make these two places talk each other as if they are in the same local network, as they use private IP addresses. So the machines will need to talk as if in their wide in a one, so wide area network. I'm wondering if it's more appropriate a carrier peering. A carrier peering is something where through their ISP they connect to Google, inside to the Google network. But no, it doesn't sound logic. I would go with the partner or dedicated interconnect. And yeah, I will need to remember the partner and dedicated interconnect differences. So okay, provides connectivity between your on-premises VPC network through a direct physical connection between your on-premises network and the Google network. Instead, the partner interconnect provides connectivity between your on-premises network through a supported service provider. It looks like this one. Yeah, I will say partner. So if you can physically meet Google's network to reach your VPC, you can use partner interconnect to connect to a service provider that connects directly to Google. If you have high bandwidth needs, if you require a lower bandwidth solution, Cloud Interconnect provides access to all Google Cloud provided services from your on-premises network. So yeah, why I would I think the partner is necessary, as we are basically not going to put machines in the same place, in the same data center, in the Google owned point of presence. Therefore, we will need to go through a supported service provider. This is in case you can be in the same place as Google's owned point of presence. So yeah, I will go for partner because of the distance. Now, one of EHR's healthcare customers is an international renowned research and hospital facility. Many of their patients are well-known public personalities. Sources both inside and outside have tried many times to obtain health information of these patients for information purposes. The hospital requires that patient information stored in Google Cloud's bucket do not leave the geographic area in which the buckets are hosted. You need to ensure that that information stored in cloud storage buckets in the Europe West 2 region does not leave that area. What should you do? So here, encrypt data. Encrypting is not preventing. It's not preventing the distribution. It's just preventing the readability. Enable virtual private cloud services controls. And create a service perimeter around the cloud storage resources. Not sure. Assign the identity and access management storage object viewer role only to user that and service account that need to use the data. But still, this is not preventing. So it looks like the access control list that limits access to the bucket to authorized users only and apply it to the buckets in the Europe West 2 region. Well, a service perimeter. So this section provides details, blah blah, to protect Google Cloud Storage in materials, so data exfiltration. You can specify service perimeters and information about the service perimeter. See all of service controls. Access inside a perimeter such as from VMs in a PC that is hosted inside perimeter can restrict the using. You can configure the PC server component in enforced or dry run mode, the configuration, blah blah blah. Yeah, so create an access control list that limits access to the user only. So the EHR sales employees are a remote-based workforce that travel to different locations to do their jobs. Regardless of their location, the sales employees need to access the web-based sales tools located in the EHR data center. EHR is retiring their current VPN infrastructure, and you need to move the web-based sales tools to a beyond corp access model. Each sales employee has a Google Workspace account and uses that account for single sign-on. What should we do? Create an identity-aware proxy connector that points to the sales tool application. Create a Google group for the sales tool application and upgrade that group to a security group. Deploy an external HTTPS load balancer and create a custom Cloud Armor policy for the sales tool application. For every sales employee who needs access to the sales tool application, give their Google Workspace account the predefined app engine. So create a Google group for the sales tool application and upgrade that group to a security group. Create an identity-aware proxy connector that points to the sales tool application. Let's see what's a beyond corp access model. It builds upon a decade of experience combined with the best practices by shifting access control from the network perimeter to the individual users. Yeah, IAP looks like the good solution. You are the data compliance officer of Mountcare Games and must protect customers' personally identifiable information. Mountcare Games want to make sure they can generate anonymized usage reports about their new game and delete PII data after a specific period of time. The solution should have minimal cost. You need to ensure compliance while meeting business and technical requirements. What should you do? Archive audit logs in cloud storage and manually generate reports. Archive users' logs on a locally attached persistent disk and cut them to a text file for auditing. Wow. Archive audit logs in BigQuery and generate reports using Google Data Studio. Write a cloud logging filter to export specific date range to PubSub. Wow. Anonymized usage reports. Okay, so we have the word reports. I will go with BigQuery and Google Data Studio. Mountkit Games wants you to make sure the new gaming platform is being operated according to Google best practices. You want to verify that Google recommended security best practices are being met while also providing the operations team with the metrics they need. What should you do? Ensure that you aren't running privileged containers. Okay, so I'm not informed, I'm not educated about this. Like container security best practices. Ensure that workloads are not using security context to run as a group. I will say that these look all reasonable, so I will select them all. You need to implement virtual private cloud services control for Montkirk. They want to allow Cloud Shell usage by its developers. Developers should not have full access to managed services. You need to balance these conflicting goals. What should you do? So let's repeat the question. Montkirk Games wants to allow Cloud Shell usage by its developers. developers should not have full access to managed services. You need to balance these conflicting goals. Okay, so I think that is reasonable. Your new game running on Google Cloud is in public beta, and you want to design meaningful service level objectives before the game becomes generally viable. What should you do? SLE, SLO, SLA. So SLE are the definition of the measures. The SLO are the values for those measures which I'm capable of maintaining without considering the contracts with the customer, and SLA is the prudent version of those values, which allows me to have a buffer before breaking SLAs with the customers. So define one SLO as 99.9% game server availability. Define the other SLO as less than 100 millisecond latency. Define one SLO as a service availability that is the same as Google Cloud's availability. Define the other SLO as 100 millisecond latency. Define one SLO as 99% HTTP request to return the 200 status code. Okay, so here we are talking about the characteristics of a definition. So an SLO needs numbers, but also really precise definitions. So define one SLO as 99 HTTP request, 99% HTTP requests to return the 200 status code. Define the other SLO as returns. Define the other SLOs as the mean response time of all HTTP requests that are less than. Define one SLO's total uptime of the game server within a week. Define the other. Okay. Wow. They look all wrong to me. But okay, let's adapt ourselves to this question in these options. So in the first case, we have define one SLO as 99.9% game server availability. Define the other SLO as less than 100 millisecond latency. Define one SLO as a service availability that is the same as Google Cloud's availability. Define the other SLO. Okay. Define SLO as 99 HTTP request return The 200 status code. Define the other as low as 99 requests return within. I will go with this one. It looks like more objective and measurable. HRL wants you to help them bring existing recorded video content to the new fans in emerging regions. Consider that HRL business and technical requirements want. What should you do? Serve the video content directly from a multi-region cloud storage bucket. Use Cloud CDN to cache the video content from an existing public cloud provider. You are the data compliance officer for Terram, Earth, and must protect customer personally identifiable information like credit card information. Terram Earth wants to personalize product recommendations for its large industrial customers. You need to respect data privacy and deliver a solution. Does this exist really? Man, this exists. You are designing a future-proof hybrid environment that will require network connectivity between Google Cloud and your on-premises environment. You want to ensure that Google Cloud environment you are designing is compatible with your on-premises networking environment. Use the default VPC in your GCP project. Use a cloud VPN connection between your on-premises environment and Google Cloud. Create a network plan for your VPC in Google Cloud that uses side ranges that overlap with your on-premises environment. Create a network plan for your VPC that uses not overlapping side range with your on-premises environment. Use a cloud interconnect connection between your on-premises environment and Google Cloud. This looks reasonable. Your company wants to track whether someone is present in a meeting room reserved for a scheduled meeting. There are 1,000 meeting rooms across 5 offices on 3 continents. Each room is equipped with a motion sensor that reports its status every second. You want to support the data ingestion needs of this sensor network. The receiving infrastructure needs to account for the possibility that the devices may have inconsistent connectivity. Which solution should you design? Have devices pull for connectivity to PubSub and publish the latest measure on a regular internet to a shared topic for all devices. Have each device create a persistent connection to a computer engine? Right. No. Have devices pull for connectivity to cloud? No. Have devices create a persistent connection to an app engine application front end by cloud endpoints? Have devices poll for connectivity to PubSub and publish the latest message. I will go with this. Your company wants to try out the cloud without low risk. With low risk. They want to archive approximately 100 terabytes of their log data to the cloud and test the serverless analytics features available to them there, while also retaining the data as long-term disaster recovery backup. Which two steps should they take? Upload log files into cloud storage, so they have disaster recovery backup. Import logs into cloud logging or big table, because these are a huge amount of data, but they are already generated. They do not need to be eaten real time. I will say cloud logging can ingest them. Serverless analytics, load logs into BigQuery. You set up an auto-scaling managed instance group to serve web traffic for an upcoming launch. After configuring the instance group as a backend service to an HTTP load balancer, you notice that virtual machine instances are being terminated and relaunched every minute. The instances do not have a public IP address. You have verified that the appropriate web response is coming from each instance using the curl command. You want to ensure that the backend is configured correctly. What should you do? Ensure that all after configuring instance group as a backend service to an HTTP load balancer, just after that you notice that the virtual machine instances are being terminated and relaunched every minute. The instances do not have a public IP address, and therefore you have verified that the appropriate responses come from each instance. Okay, so the virtual machines are working correctly, they're healthy, and you want to ensure that the backend is configured correctly. So we go to the backend and ensure that the firewall role exists to allow source traffic. No. Assign a public key to each instance. No. Ensure that the firewall exists to allow load balancer health checks to reach the instances in the instance group. Maybe. Create a tag on each instance with the name of the load balancer. Configure a firewall role with the name of the load balancer as the source and the instance tag as the destination. Forwarding rule. Let's go. Your organization has a 3-tier web application deployed in the same Google Cloud virtual private cloud. What is a 3-tier web application? Come on, man. So we have each tier scales independently from others. Network traffic should flow through the web to the API tier. And then on the database tier, traffic should not flow between the web and the database tier. How should you configure the network with minimal steps? Add each tier to a different subnetwork. Set up software-based firewall on individual VM. Add tags to each tier and set up routes that allow the desired traffic flow. Add tags to each tier and set up firewall rules that allow the desired routes. You are designing a large distributed application with 30 microservices. Each of your distributed microservices need to connect to a database backend. You want to store the credentials securely. Where should you store the credentials? So a database backend which is accessed with credentials that I want to store securely. So in a secret management system, if I put them in an environment variable, they are exposed in the source code. Okay, your customer is moving their corporate applications to Google Cloud. The security team wants detailed visibility of all sources in the organization. You use Resource Manager to set yourself up as the organization administrator. Which identity and access management roles should you give to the security team while following Google recommended practices? Organization viewer, project viewer. To reduce costs, the director of engineering has required all developers to move their development infrastructure resources from on-premises virtual machines to Google Cloud. These resources go through multiple start-stop events during the day and require state to persist. You have been asked to design the process of running a development environment in Google Cloud while providing cost visibility to the finance department. Which two steps should you take? So use persistent disk to store the state. How to flag on all persistent disk before stopping the VM. Apply VM CPU utilization label and include a This costs a lot. This may cost less, but of course it takes more time to start and stop VMs. And it says that the resources go through multiple start and stop events during the day and require states to persist. You need to design development environment. I will say to use this and this. Let's go. The database administration team has asked you to help them improve the performance of their new database server running on Compute Engine. The database is used for importing and normalizing the company's performance statistics. It is built with MySQL running on Debian Linux. They have an N1 standard 8 virtual machine with 80 gigas, which they can't restart until their next maintenance event. What should they change to get better performance from this system as soon as possible in a cost-effective manner? Improve performance of their new database. GB zonal persistent disk. Okay, so let's view accuracy. Nice, so nice. One which, okay, so I selected them all and it was only A and C. 2 errors. Sorry, and Mount Kirk. We need to study Mount Kirk. Container security and security parameters. Three errors. I've seen this coming. 4 errors. So another security. 5 errors. Six errors. Fuck you, man. So 30% wrong. I think I will not pass this. If I'm not wrong, you need to do like a 75%. What was the required? professional architect, passing score 70%. So maybe no, I don't think I would pass in that percentage of errors. So I need to repeat some security best practices and tools. Nice, I really liked these, and I will make use of these videos by this guy here. I will have a look at the study cases, so maybe you can better understand the questions. So thank you very much for being with me here. I hope this session was useful for you, instructive. I will continue with this type of session at this point, as I intend to practice for the certification and take the exam as soon as possible. Therefore, see you in the next video. I hope you will be here with me